This is Laura Duncan with CSMS. Today we'll talk about quadratic and other nonlinear functions, meaning they're not lines. First, write the equation for the quadratic parent function and sketch its graph. So the quadratic parent function is y equals x squared. Remember that you can put this into the y equals function in your calculator and look at the graph itself. Or you can make a table given some x and y values. So if x is -2, the y value, -2 squared, would be 4. If x is -1, the y value would be 1. Then we have the vertex, which is at 0, 0. If the x is 1, y would be x squared, which is 1. And we'd have +2 and 4 for the next values. So let's start by graphing. When we're graphing, the parent function is oriented about the origin. And then I like to go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. And then if we go over 2 to the x, we'd have to go up 4 because 2 squared is 4. Each one of these is reflected over the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry is the line that goes through the vertex. So the axis of symmetry is the vertical line going through the vertex. Each side of the parabola is reflected over the axis of symmetry. So let's look at the domain and the range of this parabola. For the domain, we're looking at the x values. And since we're going from the left bound to the right bound, we start with the left and we see that we have an arrow at the top. And at the right, it goes infinitely positive as well. So the domain would be all real numbers. For the range, we have a different scenario. For the range, we're going from the lower bound to the upper bound. So we can see the lowest point is the vertex right here. And the uppermost point is infinite. So that means y would be greater than or equal to 0 for the range of this function. Now let's look at the next question. How does changing the numbers in a quadratic equation affect the graph? So looking at this function, this is in vertex form, a positive a would mean that it opens up. Like this. However, a negative a means that it would open down. Almost a reflection of the first one. If an a is greater than 1, then we would say that it stretches or is narrower. And for an a between 0 and 1, that would be a fractional number less than 1. We would say that it compresses or becomes wider. Let's look at if we have plus d or minus d. Notice that the d is outside of the parentheses. Since it's outside, if it is plus d, it'll shift up. If it's minus d, it will shift down. So that makes sense with our brains, but look at the things that are inside the parentheses. When we have x plus c and x minus c, if it's plus, it moves to the left. And if it's minus c, it moves to the right. Let's shift our attention to the maximum or minimum. The maximum or minimum of a quadratic function is called the vertex. If the parabola opens up, the vertex is a minimum point. But if the parabola opens downward, the vertex is a maximum point. Remember, in your calculator, you can put the function into your y equals. Then you'll push second trace number 3 or 4, depending on if it's a max or min, and you'll move your cursor to the left of the vertex. You have to get a left bound point, then press enter. You'll move to the right bound point, press enter, and then press enter a third time when it says guess. Please pause the video here while you use your calculator. So looking at the formula, you can tell that this is going to open up. So that means our vertex will be a minimum point. After using your calculator, you should have found that the vertex is located at -3 repeating and -1.3 repeating. Let's move on to the next question. What are the other words that mean the same as x-intercepts? Please pause the video here and fill in what you can. Roots, solutions, and zeros mean the same thing as the x-intercept. It's basically the point where the function crosses the x-axis. To find the solutions, roots, zeros, or x-intercepts, remember in your calculator you must put for y2 it equals to 0. Then you're going to do second trace number 5 because you're trying to find the intersection of y equals 0 and the function. You'll move the cursor close to one x-intercept and press enter 3 times. Repeat the steps to find the other x-intercept. Please pause the video here while you find the solutions to this quadratic equation. So the solutions are 0.3 repeating and -1 repeating. Remember, you don't have to use your calculator. You could solve this by factoring or using the quadratic formula. Now let's look at the next question. Pause the video here while you try it on your own. The answer to this one is letter D. If you're having trouble with this, please go to the y equals function in your calculator and put both of them in. Then it's easier to compare them. However, we can note that in both of these, they do not have any parentheses. So it doesn't show movement to the left or right. It shows up or down. Let's look at the next one. Simplifying with exponents. I want to remind you that these exponent rules are on your formula chart. But when you're multiplying, you're going to add the exponents. When you're dividing, you subtract the exponents. When you have a negative exponent, that's not in its proper form. So you're going to move it to the other side of the fraction bar. If it's in the denominator, you'll move it to the numerator, and vice versa. Any base raised to the power of 0 is equal to the number 1. Then we had 5 steps to simplifying. Stamping it out when it's a power raised to a power. Multiplying the monomials. Moving any negative exponents. Dividing anything that is not simplified. And then finally simplify the whole problem. Now let's try this. Which expression best represents this expression that's not simplified? First, I want you to notice that no powers are raised to a second power. These are all monomials being multiplied. And since they're all monomials, we will simply multiply the coefficients and add the exponents. So looking at the coefficients, we have 3 times -3, that's 9, times -2, that would be +18. Then let's look at each exponent. On the base of a, we have 2 plus an understood 1 there, plus 3. That would be a to the 6th power. Then let's look at the base of b. We're going to add the exponents. 3, there's an understood 1 there and an understood 1 there. So that would be b to the 5th power. And finally c. The base of c, we have a 1 there and we have a 3 here. So 1 plus 3 would be 4. The matching answer is letter F. Now let's look at number 2. Which expression best represents the simplification of this monomial times a monomial? So notice first, it's not raised to a power. So in this case, since it's a monomial times a monomial, we'll simply multiply the coefficients and add the exponents. So let's start by multiplying the coefficients. We have 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. And then we're going to add the exponents. For the base of m, we have negative 2 plus 6. That would be 4. And for the base of n, we have 4 plus negative 7. That would be negative 3. We don't leave a negative exponent in our answer choices. First of all, I want you to note that negative 12 is a whole number, and if we were to separate these so that we could move them, the negative 12 would be in the numerator. The m is happy in the numerator, so he stays where he is. However, the n is unhappy, so we'll move him to the denominator. Once he's moved to the denominator, he's a happy camper once again. So let's look at our answer choices. It doesn't perfectly match, but F looks like a good choice. In G, the 12 is moved to the denominator, so it's definitely not G. H, 12 is also in the denominator. And then for J, we have N in the numerator, so it can't be J either. So F is our answer choice. Note that the negative sign is in front of the answer choice. So we could either have the negative sign in the front, like it is in the numerator, or even associated in the denominator, but there can only be one negative sign. Finally, we're going to simplify this expression. Since it's division, I want you to note that the 5 and 6 can be treated like a fraction. So it's 5/6. Then when we're looking at the base of A, I like to move the A's to where they're going to be happy. So A to the 3rd is not happy where he is, so I'm going to move him into the denominator. A to the 5th is happy, so he's going to stay in the denominator. When we look at the B's, the base of B, everybody's happy. So since everybody's happy, we can just subtract. 4 minus 2 would be 2, and we would leave the B where the greatest number is located. Now for C, C is to the 0 power. That cancels out to be just a 1. Now let's go back to what we've done. We still have one more thing to simplify, and that's the A's. So our final answer will be 5b squared over 6a to the 8th power. That concludes your lesson.